Hello everyone, welcome to Dan Does Stuff. Today I want to show you a little project I'm working on, and I'm going to show you how to layer some stain, but also I'm going to talk about distressing some wood. My wife's found some 2x6s for free on Facebook Marketplace. Right down the road, went and picked them up, and I was just kind of figuring out what I could do with them. So I figured, why not make a coffee table? So what I have here is just some 2x6s that were brand new, pretty much brand new, and I distressed them. And you might ask, how the heck do you do that? Well, the main thing that I use to do this is a ball sander. It's basically, you put it on a ball grinder, You put it on a grinding wheel and you just go nuts with this, and you can create grooves and grains. What it does is it knocks out all the little fine pieces in between the grain of the wood, so the softer material in between the grain, so then you can have the grain actually pop up and get that weathered look. So that's the main thing that I used on the top. I really went kind of crazy on the top to make it look real old-ish looking. I did the legs, the 4x4s I bought, and then 2x4s I bought that are on the under the side, and the, what are those called? Curtains? I don't even know. I'm just making that up. I distressed those a little bit, but the main area was this top that I just kind of went nuts on. Used this ball grinder. These things aren't cheap though. They're like 20 bucks. So just word of the wise, I didn't expect it to be that much. That does a trick. And then I just took a hammer and just was like beating this like crazy, turning around using the claws, doing different angles, and just taking any little picks just to put like little wormholes in it. I don't know if you can really see it that well. And then after that, I just took a orbital sander and just went over it with some 60 grit just to knock down any of the splintery spots. Because right now I can rub my hand on here and I'm not going to get splinters. That's the idea, where it looks old and splintery, but you're not going to get hurt when you're using it. First step, after I did all that, I sanded it. I used my compressed air and just blew it all off, got all the dust off. Now the next step, pre-stained wood conditioner. This stuff is a must, especially if you're doing really nice finished pieces of wood where you've gone through like 4 layers of different grit sandpaper and got a really smooth finish. This wood conditioner will just help the stain absorb evenly into the wood so you don't get splotchiness. If you weren't going to use this, you get really splotchy areas. I know from a distress standpoint, you're like, it really doesn't matter, Dan. True, it doesn't, but I want a uniform kind of stain definitely on that first coat so it all looks nice and even. So after I do this on the whole piece, you wait 5 to 15 minutes, wipe off any excess. You can use a brush, you can use a bristle brush or a foam brush. You can even use a rag and just dip it in and spread it on. Wipe off all the excess, wait that 5 to 15 minutes, and then after that, I'm going to use this wood stain, Varathane, and this is the dries in 1 hour. So color in 1 coat 3 times faster. And I'm going to apply this with a brush, and I'm just going to brush it in so I can get in all the grains, little nooks and crannies. And that'll be my first coat with that. So it's a light color. It's golden oak. After that, I'm going to layer it with a little bit of early American. Just go over certain spots of it with that. And then finally, I might use some gray to just add some gray tones to it. So first things first, let's apply this pre-stained wood conditioner. I'm going to put on my respirator, put my gloves on, and hop to it. All right, we got our wood conditioner on. Fumes are heavy. Good thing I have this respirator on, these gloves. So I layered it on. I wiped off all the excess. I just stuck to the spots that you're going to see. I didn't do the underside just because you're not going to see that if it's all splotchy and stained. It's not that big of a deal. You can do that if you want, totally fine. Wait 5 to 15 minutes. Then I'll put the first layer of stain, the golden oak. All right, here you have it. First layer of stain with the golden oak. What I use a little roller just so I could get in all those little nooks and crannies. It worked pretty well. It was the first time I ever used a roller to do this. Usually I use a foam brush, but what happens with the foam brush, these imperfections can kind of eat away at it, and then it just kind of falls apart, and then you have foam in there. But this stuff dries super quick. It's that fast drying stuff. It'll dry within an hour. Next, we'll grab that darker color, and we'll start going over the whole thing. I'm going to mainly focus on the top and a little bit on the sides, and then finish it up maybe with gray just on certain spots. And then we'll have our layer look, kind of get that antique-y feel, barnwood. Sweet. I'm going to put this respirator away and get out of here. I put all my equipment outside because the fumes are strong. You don't want to be in here too long breathing in the stuff. You will be higher than a kite. All right, I'll be back. Get that other layer on. Hyperlapse. All right, this is looking how I want to look. Last step, I'm gonna go over it with some gray, see what this turns out to be. I'll hyperlapse that, and then we'll get back, see what it looks like. All right, we got our weathered gray on. It looks antique-y, eh? Not too shabby. I'm really digging it. It looks awesome. It looks like barnwood, like it's just old lumber. Pretty sweet. Last step, I'm going to put a layer of poly on. I'll probably use a satin or a gloss finish. Just give it that shine and protect it, and we're good to go. Now on to our final step in the process for this coffee table, which is putting a finish on it. Now I let this dry 8 hours to make sure that all the stain has been dried. If you do not let it dry long enough and you put a finish on, usually I use polyurethane, you'll get a little stickiness, gumminess, and that it'll take a really long time for the poly to dry. So make sure you read the directions on whatever stain you're using. I use 2 different kinds, like a 1 hour quick dry, and then that gray that I put on was just your standard, takes like 8 hours to dry. So I made sure this was all good and dry. And I was going to use polyurethane, like I said before, but I looked at my can and I'm all out and I didn't want to run to the store to get it. So I just reached in to find what else I had in my finishing stuff. So I'm going to use some boiled linseed oil. And I just have a Tupperware right here. And the way I'm going to do it, you can read the instructions on it. I'm just going to pour it in here, use a brush it on, wait like 5 to 10 minutes, and then just make sure you wipe all the oil off. And I'll probably do 2 coats on this. This is going to be inside, it's on an exterior piece. And then we will be done with this free 2x6 coffee table build. So I'm going to put it in hyperlapse, get this done, and show you what the finished product looks like. Well, there you have it. Here is my free 2x6 coffee table that I did a multi-layer stain on it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want you all to know that I'm not an expert in any of this, but I saw it, wanted to try it, and did it. Take a risk, do things, try things new. You never know what you might like or what you might have gifts at, guys and girls. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share. If you want to see me do other things, shoot me a message, and I'd love to try something new or put something on film for you. Film, record, there you go. Thanks for watching.